Hello buddy. So in the work environment, you usually maintain three environments. One would be in the development, wherein you will be developing and experimenting. And then you would have something called QA or stage, or some people have QA as well as stage. Some use only QA, some use only stage. So you have to check what's in your work environment. And then there will be a production environment wherein only certain admins or your DevOps would have access to that environment. Now, how do you set this up? Okay, in Matillion, this is done with environment variable. So we'll be doing that setup today, and we will run the same S3 load. What is the prep needed? First is you need to prepare your Snowflake. You need to create environment. So in Snowflake, obviously you will create three different DBs, then the table, your main table or whatever tables involved in each of them. Basically you will create the similar setup, but three different places. How would you do that? Generally it would be using the Snowflake script. You could just create the database using the script. You want the schema, you can, but it's optional. Today I have not used the schema. And just run the student records in each of the environment. You'll be having a dev DB. Let me close this. Okay. And then under public tables you will have this record. Okay. That is way one. Another way would be using the clone, okay, which I will be showing you all today. So let's get started. So this was our project of the last video. So I'm just gonna say copy and I will say paste. So now with this you have seen this functionality as well. Prod environment. Okay. The first thing I'll do is I'll show you all cloning. So you would have to create one environment, say env dev. How would you create it? We have done this multiple times before. We have just run the database query. You have I've not used schema this time. Create a table for one. Say you have done it for dev. Okay, I had created it for dev and then I clone for QA. So let me show you how to clone for one more, that is clone environment and database, and I want to call this environment prod. And what would be the database name? The database name that I want is, don't worry if it's already there, we have a setting here. So, and I can say replace the existing database if any with the clone database. Always be very when you use delete and replace, you should be very sure of the name that you are giving so that you are not replacing some critical database. Say confirm, and the prod is here. Okay, let's see what's inside the prod. Along with the environment, you see the table also has been cloned. The only change you need to do is you need to create a stage for the prod. So say manage stages. You will not need this. We'll need to create one for the prod. So I say create or replace. Again, be very careful while you are using replace public. So I will say stage prod. And in case your prod is the S3 is in some other location, please update it accordingly. Currently we are pointing it to the same folder every time, but this could be different for dev, stage and the prod. Oh, the one I cloned is not with variables, so let us do it from scratch, no problem. Stage, what we would do is very simple, variables, just pick the stage you have created. Same with the database, use variables, db, schema, yes, and student table, use variables. Yeah, done. That is all. You are done with this. So So you have set this up now. I had done the stages before, you would not have this. So let's look at the environments once. I will be keeping this screenshot in my notes as well. You would need the DB name, schema name, stages and table name. Okay. And for the respective environments, you will have to give these details. If you've gone through my previous video, you will know the contents of this. For DB and dev environment, you have to write the DB name of the dev environment, the schema, the stage name and the table name, the actual ones. So the since I made prod just now with you, I'll have to update this as well. This was my table name, this is my schema, my stage was prod, and the records is this. So I will say okay. Now we have updated our environment variables as well. Our environments are ready. What I have done is I've selected dev as default. How do you do that? Right click and say select environment. Okay. See here. Okay. How do you run it in other environments now? Running in dev is pretty easy and obvious. Run job, right? Now if I had to run this on QA, what I would do, I would just select this and say QA and say okay, and it's gonna start running on QA. Let's look into this if this works on successfully, and yes, it is successfully done. Okay. And in case you want to check this, run this on prod as well, let's execute it on prod. And ta-da, it's done. Okay. If you want to verify this in Snowflake, so you can just come check here. Let's see. Ten records. Number of rows 10, and in obviously it is updated in QA as well. We have successfully set up this environment. In the next session, we will see how variable behavior affects a flow. Stay tuned.